Okay, what we have here is a broken recliner chair. This is the underworkings of the chair. This is where I've welded it before. It's an ugly weld, but I managed to weld it into place before without taking the chair apart. And it held for a long time, but now it's busted apart. Like I said, that's a very ugly weld. A lot has been done to it. Now I'm going to take the chair apart, attempt to anyway, see if we can get the frame on the table. And if I turn this camera back on to do it again, the frame will be on the table. If I don't, the chair will be in the trash. Well, believe it or not, these 4 nuts right here hold that entire backing on the chair. Now this is the main base part with the mechanism in it that needs welding, which is hanging right here. Now I'm going to attempt to take these other parts off to where it's nothing but the frame. And people say chairs aren't made like they used to be. This is all that's holding that entire piece there on. Okay, we got the thing apart. We got the side of the chair off. One of the sides anyway. The other side would be good to leave it on. But right here you can see how it needs to go back together real good here, like this. You can tell a whole lot better. It lines up just like that. We're going to get all that old ugly weld off of there. So we can get a good shot. Anyway, get the old ugly weld off. Smooth, and I'll put a plate across here, a reinforcement plate, maybe even on both sides, and tack it up, and hopefully fix this thing once and for all. I might even go ahead and put a plate over here on this side, maybe, or some kind of rig. This side here is kind of warped, like it's been bending a little. Hard to tell, but we'll see what it does. I'll get this side fixed, and I might do the other side too while I have it apart. Oh well. Okay, I've been grinding on this thing a while. Right here, it's all smooth on this side. It's all smooth right here on this side. You can see it shining there. What I'll do is I'll measure this gap up here where my finger is, make it the same as the other side. And then right down here you can see light shining through the weld. If I get it right or not. Anyway, there's a little gap there. The gap between here. I'll fill that in with weld on this side and then grind it back smooth here like that. But what I'll do to start with is on this other side of my fingers over here on the far side, I'll tack weld it over there to hold it into place. And then this gap down here, I'll fill it in with weld and then smooth it off, like I said. Smooth it off here, and all that'll be reconnected right. And then make a metal plate to go across here to overlap it and weld it on all the way around. And that should make it pretty strong. And then see about building up the weld on the other side. We'll see how that does. Okay, we got this sucker welded right here and ground back down smooth. I can't even hardly tell where the original thing was there. It's all filled in. Now I'm going to get a piece of this stuff here and probably have to bend this out just a hair, make it flat. I'm going to cut a piece of this to fit on here and weld it all around. The ends, top and bottom. It's the same thickness as this stuff. And by God, when I do all that, this thing will be pretty strong. All I had to do is tie this thing down with a piece of strap in here, like wire tie, and this almost just hung right in place without putting anything on it. I held it in, I held it in place with this little bitty plastic thing, just to tack weld it. I had this stuck up here like this. I had all my big heavy clamps and everything, nothing would work, and this little bitty cheap plastic thing did it. It got hot enough to melt a little bit, but it didn't hurt it. I got this weld over here on this side. I'm going to, as soon as I warp this out a little bit and tack on this piece over here, I'll fill in this other side of this weld and make it strong on that side. And that should just about do it pretty good. Okay. Well, all I gotta say, I've welded it. In fact, I have welded the crap out of this thing. Boy, that's some big ass, overflowing, hangover, honking weld. This thing is welded. And it seems to function. It is super. Okay, this is what I fixed the chair with. It's a Lincoln Weld-Pak 100. It's one of the best things a do-it-yourselfer could have in his garage. I bought this a while back, and it's just a flex wire. Just one of the, by far the best inexpensive way to weld most anything. And be amazed at all the things you can make with it. I have a bed extension I took out of my truck a long time ago before I sold it. Then I have it screwed to the roof of the garage up here, just keeping it in storage. But I built that with, you can see that thing hanging from up there. That was a bed extension. It would, see right there, you can see where it, I had some angle iron that hooked to the back of the, where the tail lights were, and there's the pin that went through the hole, and it would pivot over into the bed and pivot back out. I made that thing from scratch, and that thing worked real good in that truck. 300, 400 pound men could stand on each side of it and jump up and down. I mean, that thing is strong. I made it with this thing right here. Every bit of the welding was done with this. And fixed the reclining chairs with it and other things. Rebuilt the deck of a lawnmower a few years back, and just all kind of stuff. All exhaust work on all my vehicles. The welds don't look too good, but you know, it's not a show car. You got to think of that. But it's amazing all the things you can do with just this one thing here. But I do have a regular stick welder. I got an old Craftsman arc welder. I use it occasionally still. Alright, just got to brag about this little weld pack.